Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. My name's Lyndon, just an ordinary bloke from Stoke, but I've got a few stories to tell. And today we're talking about e-cigs, vapes, and their scourge on society. I'm a big fan of vaping, honestly. We'll get into that in the video. But this little bit of waffle, this is a prologue. Now, if you are of an age, you will remember the concept of prologues and epilogues from ITV drama series back in the 70s. I'm thinking of UFO in particular. That always had a prologue and an epilogue. Columbo, I think, was another one. Anyway, I digress. The point of the prologue is just to give you a few tips, explanations, reasons as to the delay. The video you're about to watch, The Scurge of e-Cigs, was shot back in November, and it's been pretty much ready to go ever since. The reason it's not been published is, well, the reasons long and varied, but I won't bore you with the details. But because of the delay, we need a couple of explanations. Not least of all is the face fur, the winter plumage. I didn't have it in November, and because professional television presenters like myself are very aware of continuity errors, I didn't want all those comments stating what on earth happened. So there's your explanation. I was late in cultivating the face fur last year. I normally get it going about September time, but for some reason, I know the reason, it was objections by the wife, if I'm honest. In the end I gave up and thought, stuff it, I'm having it. So we could have a bit of a poll, couldn't we? Just as an aside. Do you prefer bloke with the face fur or without the face fur? Perhaps leave a comment. I can tell you that it won't have any effect on my decision to remove it or leave it alone in March, because I'm a big boy, grown up, make my own decisions, and I've got the wife's permission to say so. That old joke, I do apologise, I don't know where it came from, but yeah. So, leave a comment, with or without the face fur. Well, that's nothing to do with the prologue, that's just a bit of an aside. So, where are we? We're talking about this video, why it's delayed. It's delayed for lots of reasons, which we won't go into, but what we are doing is talking about these things. E-cigs. Now, I'm a big fan of e-cigs. What I'm not a big fan of is the environmental and social impact that these things are having. We'll get on to the reasons why I'm a big fan later. But you find these cardboard boxes lying around in the gutter, left, right and centre these days, because the people that buy these seem incapable of finding a litter bin. That's another conversation for another day. That's what they start out looking like, or something like that. You will find them when they've been abused by car tyres because they've been thrown away, looking not dissimilar to this. And that, in the end, as you can see, there's two wires there. That's a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. Very dangerous. We've all seen the impact. Or perhaps you haven't. Look it up on YouTube. Go and look for lithium-ion batteries exploding. This one had a very close encounter with a car tyre. It's lost its mouthpiece. This one, well, you can see. Yeah, I can't tell you how incredibly dangerous these are. They're all pretty colours as well. You're aware of Nerf ammunition? Doesn't that look like a Nerf round? It isn't. It's an e-cig. Now, if your 5-year-old, 6-year-old is running around picking this up, thinking it's a Nerf round, he's got a problem, similar to this one. So, lots of problems. We'll talk about them all, but let's get on and do the video so you can see what I'm banging on about. Again, apologies for the delay, but it's interesting. I hope it's interesting. I found it interesting, and we must talk about Big Clive at the end. If that's not a big enough hook to make you watch to the end and look at the epilogue, that's the explanatory bit at the end, then yeah, Big Clive, you'll feature heavily in that. Hope you enjoy it. Good luck. And yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers. Morning campers. What we got here is one of my pet hates. Not the trike, litter. More importantly, these things. Is that in focus? I think it is. You come across these, they're all over the shop. I'll take it back, take it apart, show you what's inside it, because this is a big issue.
So here we go. One blue sour raspberry. Click clack. Now I've done a bit of research, and these things on the back are not contacts for possible recharging purposes. They are in fact magnets. Now the idea of this is you buy two of these things and they stick together, so you can mix your flavours, which is, well, I don't want to say it out loud. Just to be on the clear, or just to make it clear, I'm a big advocate of vaping. Having been addicted to the dreaded weed myself for far too long, what must be 30 years, heavy smoker. It was the discovery of e-cigarettes that got me off. I ended up mixing my own fluids with zero nicotine. I brought the nicotine down to nothing, and that broke the chemical addiction. You're then just left with the physical addiction, and that resolved itself really quite easily. But I came off a 50 a day habit, hand rolled, no filters, overnight, thanks to e-cigs. My opinion, for what it's worth, one of the biggest contributors to public health since the discovery of penicillin. The problem with these, as I see it, is they are marketed towards under 18s. It's the fruity flavours, which is less than ideal. But that's not what this video is about either. And this is about these single-use, one-time only versions of e-cigarettes. Inside this thing, believe it or not, again, according to my research, there is a 400 milliampere hour lithium-ion battery. And to have a disposable lithium-ion battery after a single use is nothing short of criminal in my book. Now, I've no idea how we're going to get into this. It might have to be a bit of brute force and lots of ignorance, but we'll give it a whirl, eh? Oh, not quite so brute force and lots of ignorance. That's coming out quite nicely. Part one. This is where the vaping fluid is obviously stored. It's in a bit of a sponge. I don't know whether you can see down there. If we could get a little bit more light on the game. Come on, torch. Don't do that. You'll give people a fit. Right, here we go. Can we see down there a bit better? We can. That's going to be the heating element, I'm guessing. And there's some sort of sheathing around there, so we'll try and get that out next. There's a selection of tools that will help us on our way. Oh, there you go. It's moved. Try the tweezers. Tweezers are not going to be up to it. We'll need something a little bit more substantial. Bear with. Oops. Kicking the damn thing. I didn't want to do that. Do apologise. This is the first one of these videos I've made, so I'm not really set up for it. These pin nose are going to be ideal for the job, I think. There we go. Right. That's the next bit out. That's clearly the atomizer, because that's where the what's-its are connected. And that down there is the battery. If you can see it, it might be difficult for you, but I'm doing my best. See if we can get the battery out. This might be a wee bit more tricky. I'm wondering if I really don't want to use this, because if we puncture this lithium cell, that's a disaster. It really is. Here we go. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Didn't need to worry. And the last final little bit is there. So there you have it. The constituent parts of your cheap disposable e-cigarette. And blue sour raspberry's got quite a pungent aroma. Now, according to the research, let's see if we can reveal it. Is that just a barcode? No, it was a label, but the fluid unfortunately has destroyed it. Let me stick another pair of spectacles on. There's no fun in getting old when everything stops working. When I was a TV engineer all those years ago, I'd be working at this sort of distance, unaided, no spectacles, no nothing. Today, I have to wear two pairs of glasses to get this close. I can see it says 3.7 volts. I don't know whether you'll pick it up, but 3.7 volts is what it's saying there. I can't read the rest. But from no, I can't. That's the milliamp per hour there. I'm going to go with what the guy said. The research that I did, he claimed 400 milliamp per hour, which is possible in that size cell, I guess. But we're never going to read it because it's dissolved due to being immersed in fluid. Now then, point of all this is that's a lithium rechargeable cell, 3.7 volt, 400 milliamps. That's packing a reasonable punch. Now, why would you throw away? Why would you have a disposable, single-use, rechargeable battery? I don't know about you, but for me, that's criminal. It really is. That little circuit's the control that switches it on. The little hole at the bottom is the thing that detects airflow. So when you suck on that bit of air goes through the hole at the bottom. And it's the pressure differential will trigger this. There's a little, what looks like a little membrane there. That'll detect the difference in pressure, and that switches the power to the battery, which powers the atomizer. And that's how the whole thing works. Getting back onto the main point, this is a criminal offence in my book. To be selling, I mean, I can't imagine the numbers of these things they sell. Currently, they're about £5 a pop. You get a pack of 4 for about 20 quid. This one is rated at 600 puffs. I don't know if you can see that. 600 puffs. And then you're supposed to just throw it away, or discard it in the gutter, as this one was. for the last couple of weeks, there's been 2 of these sat by side in the gutter, and I've been meaning to go up and photograph them and collect them for this video for over a week. I wish I had done now, because when I got there today to do it, there's only 1 of these things left, and the click-clack would have worked. The idea is that you mix your own flavours for some crazy reason. I'm getting off topic again. In my opinion, and I hope you agree, the mere concept of a single-use lithium-ion cell should be made a criminal offence. We can't be throwing this stuff around, particularly with the idiots we've got round here who simply discard them into the gutter. And the photograph. This is a photograph of another one that's succumbed to the ravages of the traffic that's driven over it. We've got a lithium-ion cell there. If it's charged and it gets punctured, that's a fire risk. It's dangerous. These things are poisonous, obviously. But I'm almost at the point of setting up a contact your local MP. We might have to have a petition for this one and ban the sale of single-use lithium-ion cells, because this is just ridiculous. You know, what would it have cost them to add a charging port onto that? It would have been pence. Make them rechargeable and make them refillable. That's what mine were. They were all rechargeable, refillable, and they were absolutely glorious. In fact, I'll take my glove off because I'm not going to be picking this stuff up again. In fact, that's mine. That's what got me off tobacco. It's no longer in use. It still works, I'm sure it does. Shall we see? Yeah. I mean, you don't get these huge clouds of vape that you get out of these modern things. But bear in mind, it hasn't been used for months. That's fully rechargeable, fully refillable. And as I say, one of the greatest contributors to public health in a long, long time. These things are an utter disgrace and have got to be stopped. So next time you're out walking the dogs or walking the kiddies to school and you see these things in the gutter, I wouldn't do what I do, take them apart and fiddle with them. It's definitely not recommended. But start making some noises. Let's get them stopped. It's unbelievable. You can do, of course, if you're like-minded, you could pick these things up and use them, strip them apart, join these things together, and end up with little power banks for running all sorts of lovely things. Charge them from 5 volts USB. I'll leave a link to Big Clive, who originally highlighted these to me. He shows you how to power some fairy lights using them with a rechargeable. So he rescues one of these disposable single-use battery packs and turns it into a little power supply for his fairy lights. Big Clive. I'll leave a link. That's it for now. Hope you enjoyed it. A bit different, I know. But the drone will be back soon. Fingers crossed. And we'll be back to something like normality. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. I know I did. And we'll do it all again soon. Bye for now. Hey, welcome back. If you made it this far, congratulations. Sorry it's such a long one, but there's a lot of info to get in, you know. I'm on the honey and lemon due to the croaky throat. Just for the friends we drink with on a Friday night that think I may have been suffering from man flu. It's not true. Oddly enough, though, man flu is a real thing. And it's much worse than you ladies get. That's going to get some hate mail, I'm sure. Right, so, epilogue. There was a lot of stuff in there, but the big thing is it's the detrimental effects that these things are having on not only society, but also the environment, the effect on biodiversity. These things are poisonous. And if you treat them like this, That's how they start life. First encounter with a car tyre, it loses its mouthpiece, and after several more attacks, they end up looking like this. And you can imagine what that's doing. These have all been desanitized, by the way. Desanitized or sanitized? Is that the right word? I'll let you figure that out. They've all had a good spray of something that will kill the bugs, which is why I've not got rubber gloves on anymore. And the fact I did the rubber gloves 3 months ago. So, just out of curiosity, the things that comes out of that one is this bad boy. And that's 1500 milliamps, 1.5 ampere hour, that is. 3.7 volts, 5.5 watt hours. You could do a lot with that. I must have a proper fiddle with them as well, because that thing on the end looks for all the world like an electret microphone. Could be. But it's a big battery. And when they get crushed, it releases all the nasties if it doesn't explode. It's so easy to set these things off into an uncontrollable fire. The last time I did one, I chucked it into a bucket of water and it carried on burning merrily inside the bucket of water. You can't tell me these are not aimed at kids. Of course they're aimed at kids. Look at the pretty colours. You know. This one looks like it's been used by a 6-year-old as well, judging by the state of the mouthpiece. Tube to, well, you fill in the blank. There's another one. I left the mud on this one. I've sanitised the important bit at the end. But I left the mud on it, because that's how I found it. I pulled it out of the ground. It's been trod on. It was abandoned somewhere we were walking the dogs the other day. And I thought, is that a vape? Is it not a vape? Don't know. I pulled that one out of a bush not too far from it. Somebody obviously didn't like the triple melon flavour of this. There's the box. Comes in a little paper, little plastic. Lost Mary. All yellow and pink. Now then, you can't tell me that's targeted to an airy arse bloke like me. I'm not going to walk in a shop and ask for a pink grapefruit Lost Mary, am I? I'm not the target audience for this at all. It's youngsters. I should stop dropping things on the desk because I know it doesn't work well with the sound. Also, I think it's worthwhile reading this out. Now, as I said before, I am a massive fan of vaping. It got me off my dreaded addiction, the weed. But they're not doing themselves any favours here. I shall read this, just so you're aware of it. It says, bold block, black capital letters, keep out of the reach of children. So why are they being sold to children? This product is intended for adult smokers only. This product is not recommended for non-smokers, young people under the age of 18 years, pregnant or breastfeeding women, people who are allergic to any of the listed ingredients, and those suffering from general ill health. I think that probably covers 90% of the population. Continuing. This product can expose you to nicotine, well, yeah, which can increase your heart rate and blood pressure, and can cause nausea, dizziness, or aggravate existing respiratory conditions. They don't make it sound fun, do they? If you experience any adverse reactions, please contact your doctor and let us know by providing the details by either email or telephone call. So there you go. It's not meant for kids. Don't go anywhere near it if you're pregnant, if you're generally poorly, if you've got any allergies. Interesting about the ingredients. This one's a bit of a giggle. Ingredients: vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol. Now that's what I used to use to make my own vape juice. you mention propylene glycol, people throw their hands in the air. Well, that's what's used in antifreeze. Well, it is, yeah. It's also used in inhalers for the asthmatics. Vegetable glycerin, nice, healthy, wholesome product that is. Natural and artificial flavours, and nicotine benzoate. Danger. Toxic if swallowed. Fatal in contact with the skin. I didn't read that before I picked them up. Again, danger. Big black bold capital letters. Toxic if swallowed. Fatal in contact with the skin. Harmful if inhaled. Now hang on a minute. So don't inhale it. You can buy it, but don't inhale it because it'll hurt you. Harmful to aquatic life with long-lasting effects. And there's a bunch of other stuff on there, but that's the important stuff. Elf Bar 600 cherry 20 milligrams contains 2 isopropyl N23 trimethyl. Hang on a minute. Trimethyl-butamide. There you go, that's a good word, isn't it? So this Elf Bar 600 cherry 20 milligrams contains 2 isopropyl N23 triethylbutamide and nicotine benzoate. I didn't have any of them in my juice when I was making it myself. So it's a bit of a no-no, isn't it? Getting the idea. I'm still a huge fan of vaping. It got me off tobacco. And I think last count there was something like 6,000 carcinogenic chemicals if you go puffing away on good old tobacco. So these are a benefit. I'm sceptical about the health concerns that are being aired in the popular press, if I'm honest. As I've said somewhere else, it's the same technology in these that is in smoke machines in discos. And we've been doing that for a long, long time. This one is a worry. They've banned these now. This is the most popular e-cig in the country at the moment, in the UK. And it's an Elf Bar. Retail between 3 and 6 quid. And they've got too much nicotine in. It states quite clearly that it's 2% nicotine. Well, they've been tested and they return in a lot more than that, so they've been banned. Which is a good thing, obviously. Another interesting little fact. We talked about these. Did we mention these? I don't know whether we did. This is a Nerf round. If you've got any youngsters in the house, you'll know about Nerf weaponry. It's a soft, pliable, spongy bullet that you fire off out of a Nerf gun. And they're great fun, you know. And of course, you've got to go and pick them up again once you've fired them off. Imagine little Johnny fires his Nerf rifle, Nerf gun, wanders off into the bushes to retrieve the round for another use, and comes back with one of those. Hi, Mum, look what I found. This one, of course, is fitted with a lovely little mouthpiece, and we all know what 6-year-old boys do. Anything they find goes in the mouth. So, I think that's enough to warrant questions being asked in Parliament. Just for the colourblind, there's a blue one, and there's a blue Nerf round. You know, just an aside. Right, where does that leave us? That's probably about it in terms of the hardware. I don't understand the logic of these. These really weren't around when I was vaping. The concept of a disposable vape really hadn't been invented. But actually, now I think about it, I'm wrong, because the very first e-cig I had came from a petrol station, and I bought 2 different ones to try them. First one tasted like old rubber tyres being burnt. Had that had been my experience of vapes, I would never have touched them again. But the second one was great, and I was converted straight away. But those were disposable. They were nothing as sophisticated as this. They looked very much like a traditional cigarette. But this idea of single-use throwaway lithium-ion batteries, these things, it's got me goat, you might say. I suggested in the breakdown video that
we should kick up a bit of a fuss and maybe get a petition going. Well, guess what? We've got one. There's one online already. I last looked at it yesterday, and it was up to 900 and some odd signatures. In fact, I'll slide a shot of it in now. I haven't yet done that, so I can't tell you the number, but it's in front of you. You can read it for yourself. Sign this petition, please, and spread the word. We've got to get, I think it's 10,000 signatures for it to be acknowledged by the government, and then you've got to do 100,000 signatures to get it discussed in Parliament. So, as well as the usual YouTubey stuff, like, subscribe, share, sign the petition. Do it for me. Not just for me. Do it for everybody. And let's get these single-use devices just banned. I'm not a big ban. I'm a bit of a libertarian. I don't believe in banning things, to be honest with you, especially where adults are concerned. If you're grown up, old enough and daft enough, you won't be able to do almost anything as long as you're not hurting anybody. But these are hurting kids and they're hurting the environment. I am a bit of a tree hugger. So, I'd appreciate it if you'd sign the petition. There's a link below, so you haven't got to do any work. Click on the link, go and sign the petition. Thank you. Right. What else was there? Oh, yeah. I mentioned epilogues and prologues, and I got that wrong. Must have had a bad day. It wasn't UFO. It was Aliens. Does anybody remember Aliens? It was made in 1967, 1968. I remember it as a kiddie. It was obviously a repeat because I was born in 67. But it's recently been repeated and continues to be repeated, I think, on Talking Movies TV, Talking Pictures TV. I think it's Talking Movies TV, isn't it? And it's great. I mean, it's just fabulous. What was his name? Vincent. Somebody Vincent. John Vincent. Paul Vincent. Can't remember. Anyway, we digress. It's nothing to do with e-cigs. So there you go. That's all of that stuff out of the way. I also mentioned these have been banned because of the too high nicotine level. Sainsbury's, I think it is. No, not Sainsbury's. Waitrose have gone one stage further. They have not only just banned these, but they've banned all single-use vapes. So well done, Waitrose. Full marks for that. Again, I'll provide a link to the stories telling you all about it. And finally, we've got to say a great big thank you to Big Clive. You'll enjoy Big Clive. He's got a great YouTube channel. He's an electrical engineer par excellence, and what he doesn't know about this stuff isn't worth knowing. He's a great bloke. Take a look. Link down below. Go and say hello to Big Clive. Give him my regards. He was the fella that I first saw doing this sort of thing, taking these apart. I had no idea until Big Clive showed me all about it. And then, of course, you see them in the gutter. You become hypersensitive to them. You spot them everywhere. And Big Clive is a great bloke. Go and give him a bit of support and learn a bit more about it all. He does some wonderful stuff. He's currently hacking cheap Chinese pound shop electronics and doing wonderful things with them. Not just warning you away from the dangerous ones that are likely to kill you. It's a great bloke. He can't help being Scottish. He's doing his best. He lives in the Isle of Man now. But fabulous, fabulous guy. Go and say hello to Big Clive. You know the rules. Link in the description. That's it. I'm done. Before my voice gives out again, and we've finally crossed the line with this. I do apologise. It's been far too long, but there's such a lot to talk about. And you may have gathered, if there's any talking to be done, I'm your man. Which is why you can imagine a sore throat is, oh, it's the end of the world for me. The epilogue coming to an end. I'm just looking, it's 15 minutes. That's crazy. That's longer than most videos I do. Won't happen again, I promise. I'll get it all done in one take. And we won't have to do all this messing about. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've enjoyed it, more importantly. Tell your friends. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And don't forget that petition. It's important. Let's see if we can't get the government to do something about this. Save the planet, save the kiddies, and just do a good thing. Get that warm, fuzzy feeling, and go out and hug a tree next time you get a chance. Cheerio. Thanks for joining. Pass it on, and stay safe until the next time. Cheers. Good night. Good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. You know what I mean. Bye.